What's going on, everybody? LK here, and today, honestly, an unexpected surprise. So at CEO, we saw who the new character was going to be, and it's Baiken. So of course, I have to be an excerpt. The trailer is lackluster, as usual, for me, at least. I really like the starter guides when you can actually start seeing the moves. But Baiken is a little bit special because she's a returning character like Jacko, but she also has the privilege of being that character. People who main Guilty Gear or play Guilty Gear quite dislike this character, and people who don't play the game like her for, I don't know, maybe two reasons, not sure. And the joke was always, if you like Baiken, you either main her or you don't play the game. So let's dig into Baiken and see what's the main issue that people who play the game have with her. So if you're not familiar with her, Baiken is a defensive style character, but you know that it's Guilty Gear, so our offense is going to be really good as well. So the big TLDR of this video is going to be, basically, you can't do what you normally do, so it's annoying. That's the main issue that people have with her. So one, her screen control is amazing compared to other characters. Of course, we're in Exerd because Baiken is not in the game yet, but even then, even Milia, she still has the same general moves, still has a somewhat similar sweep, similar far slash, similar jumping moves. So as usual, the trailer didn't actually show any moves, so the general thing that Baiken has to control space, and the first really big question of how she's going to play in Strive, since every character has been changed from what they usually are, is going to be about this move, the instant air dash tatami gaichi. So this move controls quite a bit of space. As you can see, it's like a falling hitbox. The tatami itself is the hitbox. So this makes for quite a bit of screen control because it comes from the top and falls. This could make it a little bit hard to chase Baiken. Her normal is also relatively big, and despite being a defensive character, she has some really good offensive selections. For a long time in Guilty Gear, she's had this. This is the Tiger ni Yosanzen. It's an instant overhead that you would not really expect a defensive character to have. You don't get combos off this generally, but if you have meter, you do. And you know that in Strive, you get to be really tricky with how you use your meter. So assuming that she has this move, she's going to have some really tricky offense in addition to her neutral control and defense. So this is where we got to talk about. This is where I got to meet Baiken mains in the middle. As a Million player, I usually don't give a fuck about Baiken. Like, I have no issue with this character. I actually think she's pretty cool, and I would play her. Maybe she's like one of those characters that seem pretty interesting because I like playing neutral. But when you play other characters, this is where the issue comes in. So there's a pretty common theme in Guilty Gear of fast pressure that has responses, but you can't react to them. So that's where it gets tricky. That's where all the tension comes from, and that's where all the mix comes from. It's a theme in Guilty Gear XX. It's a theme in Guilty Gear Exerd, and again, it returns in Strive. It's something very, very common in the series. So this is where people start not feeling it because she has this. This is her parry stance. It's called Azami, and it's something you can do in block stun as well, which kind of throwback to Guilty Gear XX, where she just straight up has guard cancels. So I have Johnny here. Everyone loves Johnny, right? Really fair, cool Johnny doing scary strings. And the main thing about Baiken that other characters can't do is, of course, you could guess parry and follow up, but she also has this from block stun as well. This makes it so that you drastically have to change your offense just for her. Now, if you're a set play monster, then she has to guess which way you're going to go, so it's who cares. And for those of you watching who don't play Guilty Gear, these are the characters like Milia who win because they mix you up after knocking you down generally. The pressure monsters are always really strong, but they have to adjust their game quite a bit. And this is where the real pain comes from. So this doesn't even go into ACR Baiken, who's the same type of character, but you have to understand, again, it's ACR, remember? So this is basically the most powerful versions of these characters, and Baiken has a special guard cancel in this game that really messes with your options. So while she has a normal counter, you can spend an extra 25 to add a special effect. So this one, I can't run or jump anymore or backdash. All I can do is walk back and forth. This is the P follow-up. So this is the K follow-up, which makes everything into a counter hit during the effect. And this is the S follow-up that makes everything unblockable until the next hit, or the opponent hits Baiken first. Now, unlike the Azami of Exer, this is just a motion input. It's 4-1-2. So let's say a quarter circle down from back. So you have to either target the input, so find a way to attack them when they're not at the back portion of the input. In this example, if I started after I saw the close slash, the 2S is a low. I'm on the down back down part of the input, so I get hit because I'm not blocking. But again, this is really difficult to do because you have to do it against a blocking opponent. So you have to really change up your offense. Depending on the type of character you are, you might not have any responses to this at all besides super hard calling. It'll feel very frustrating in a game about offense to deal with this super defensive character. But regardless, lover or hater, she's coming back to the game. As far as I'm concerned, fine. Again, selfish. Don't forget, Guilty Gear is selfish. Most people only like their characters and you don't really care about the other characters unless they beat your characters. Wink wink. But all jokes aside, we'll see what they do to her because they have changed the characters that have returned to the game quite a bit. As usual, if you guys have any questions or comments, definitely feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Like and subscribe if you guys feel like it, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace out.